Hi everyone, welcome to episode 4 of The Digital Source. I'm Ian Hyde, Strategy Director at Visualsoft, and today we're going to be discussing all things AI and marketing and e-commerce. I'm delighted to be joined by Gary Murray from Leader Online and Emily Hackner from ASK BOSCO, but I'll let you guys introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Gary Murray from Leader Online. I'm the CMO at a growing business, e-commerce business with Visualsoft as our platform. We focus on doors and floors primarily. We've recently moved into the bathroom sector as well, which is really exciting for us.
Yeah, and I'm Emily, Product Director at ASK BOSCO. We are a marketing intelligence and AI reporting platform. So basically we help brands and retailers understand how to spend their money online to make more money back.
So, Emily and Gary, it's been about 18 months since sort of ChatGPT came into our lives and AI became mainstream, shall we say. How has it affected your work life, I guess, since then? Should we start with you, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, it's sped a lot of things up, made things a lot easier in certain areas. We do use it quite frequently for different areas of the business, SEO, content writing, even things like formulas within Sheets, something like that some of the IT team get involved with, which is really useful, making things a lot simpler for us.
Yeah. What about you, Emily?
So I think it's a bit different from my side. I think so. AI has been around in the mainstream for the last 18 months, but actually AI has been around for like the last 20 years in terms of like computer science and what people have been working on. I think what's happened is it's changed more of our day-to-day operations. So we've got teams like the sales team and like content teams and things like this utilising technology that uses AI to help them scale things. So that's, I suppose, the difference people who are using it.
Yeah. And I guess with that, the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, came out about a year ago and said within 5 years, 95% of all marketing tasks, whether it be creative, strategy or output, will be done by AI, essentially making me redundant, which isn't great. What are your thoughts on that, Gary? Do you see that happening in the next 5 years?
Not really. Not 95% anyway. I think there is a lot of areas of, especially in marketing, what we use it for already, and it will get more and more over time, but 95% is quite a sweeping statement, and I think there is a lot of human intervention still that really is useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's about how humans can use AI. It's that collective intelligence to kind of make everybody's lives better. Strategic decisions at the moment still very much sit with humans. That's at the moment, and we'll have to just see how quickly those things change.
I think not being overly reliant as well, and kind of losing your skills a little bit, reliant on it, taking away kind of your skill set will be key to not do that.
I think that's the danger, isn't it? Because once you start using certain tools, programs, whatever it might be, you can't take it away again.
Yeah.
Because once the AI is working, that's taken over then. And it's then has to be nurtured and has to be utilised constantly to keep it consistent.
I think that's why people get a bit scared over it, that they're going to lose part of their job or some of their role, and then it's going to become redundant. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's more kind of just a addition to what you can do in a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and I think for now people need to focus more on the positives. So I'm quite lucky at ASK BOSCO. We work a 4-day week already, and we use technology as part of being able to do that, so people can have a longer weekend and things. So I just think the next step needs to be 3-day week with more AI that we can
Let's get the 4-day week first for the rest of us.
I think I'll take that one away.
So we've all seen the Volvo Life fake ad that was going around, I think last month, a couple of weeks ago, where it was made by one person in 24 hours, all using AI, and it looks like a Volvo car ad. What were your thoughts on it when you first saw it, Gary? Do you feel like that's where things are going, or is it just a great example of what it can do?
Yeah, I think it's a good example. I think it's quite exciting, to be fair, for the marketer in me. I think getting things done a lot faster is a good thing, because it can be difficult to get sign off and kind of go back and forth with creatives and get your vision across. I think if you can get a design and then tweak it and change it in quite a fast space of time, I think it's quite exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a particularly creative person, so I saw that ad and didn't even realise that it wasn't like a real Volvo ad. But yeah, I think it's what Gary's saying in terms of speed, getting something quickly and being the first. I think sometimes getting your campaign out there before everybody else, it gives you the advantage of speed if you're a business.
So we've already seen AI start to be integrated into day-to-day efforts in marketing agencies, internally within marketing, whether it be through strategy, content creation, analytics. How have you, Gary, started to integrate it in Leader Online and what you're doing in day-to-day?
I think most of the stuff we've used it for currently is for SEO purposes, content writing, updating some of our content. I think it's within product range that we've got, such a wide range of products in a small team, it can be difficult to get unique content across the full site. So using it for that has been great. I think we'd like to adopt things like customer service chatbots, things like that, to triage customers a little bit before they come to an agent. But I think you've got to be a little bit careful with it and making sure that it's not just kind of putting up barriers for people, because people will get annoyed with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, from an ASK BOSCO point of view, we're kind of the same. So I suppose our own marketing effort as like corporate marketing for our product, our sales team and our marketing teams are using AI. So marketing really just to be able to scale how much content we can create. We do recommend a really heavy lifting editing process just to avoid any like rogue results or hallucinations or anything like that you could get from like ChatGPT or any of those types of tools. But that kind of works quite well as long as you can cover off the scale. Yeah, and our sales team are using it to probably write a load more emails to spam everybody with, but yeah, obviously in a non-spammy way, but yeah, they can get loads more scale and personalization as well from using those sorts of tools.
Yeah, I think us as an agency, obviously we're using it for research purposes, but there's been a little bit of nervousness depending on the client or brand we work with about actually putting it on websites. Will you be penalised by Google? All of that sort of stuff over time. Is that something that concerns you, do you think, Gary, or is it just to test it and see?
Yeah, I think we've got to be careful with it. However, I don't see it as any different to not having AI doing it, because I think it's quite easy for a user to go and copy and paste descriptions and things like that and make it quite spammy without AI. So it will help, and I don't see any issues with it personally. No. Have
you found it easier to test various headlines, descriptions, whatever it might be, certainly through shopping, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, adding a lot more variety in. Yeah, definitely. I think it just speeds up the process massively rather than having to. You still got to use your creative brain to kind of ad hoc it and make sure it's correct, but it does get kind of a lot faster results, so it helps.
So with the launch of AI in the mainstream, there's been a lot of tools that have come onto the market. My personal favourite I use every day more or less is Midjourney. I've used it mainly for internal presentations, pitch decks, that sort of thing. What AI tools have you guys adopted within your businesses?
I think one that's really good to mention is within social media, writing posts and things like that, captions, just to use the built-in AI on, say, LinkedIn or something like that to help shape it and make sure it's written in a cohesive manner. I think some of the emails that some of our staff members have sent out in the past potentially haven't been great, and you want to kind of level it up and format it correctly. And I think using tools like Gemini within Google and things like that definitely will help, or within HubSpot as well.
Brilliant. What about you, Emily?
From I suppose my personal day-to-day life, I use like ChatGPT and things like that to just quickly ask questions. We work within data and analytics, and there's always different, new marketing platforms and different things coming into the market. Rather than having to read through everybody's FAQs all the time, you can get a lot of research from those types of tools that have already read that content. So I use it a lot for things like that. On the development side, because obviously got a lot of development people, data scientists, they use tools such as like Copilot to make their code more efficient. So for example, they'll have written code in a particular way, they'll run it through Copilot, it'll make the code more efficient, makes the product quicker, faster, those types of things. So we're constantly looking at those areas.
Do you see the future in AI tools individual tools coming out, or do you think it's going to be the big companies that are adopting these AI extensions? So you've got Google with, I don't know, Bard, Gemini, whatever they're calling it now. You've got Shopify launching Sidekick, which is going to have AI recommendations built in there as well. Or do you think it's actually going to be innovation from these individual tools that are the things that are going to become the day-to-day, or just adaptations of the platforms we're already using?
I think everyone's doing their own version within their own platform. There's a lot of software and tools that come out now, and you kind of look for AI within it before you adopt it, I think. I think everyone will have their own version of it, but it'll probably be within a framework of a wider platform.
I think some of the bigger technologies, obviously they're developing all the time. There's absolutely loads of investment, but it's going to take years for some of the things and some of the issues to be ironed out, you know, the hallucinations through ChatGPT and things like this. Personally, I think Apple are going to come out with something and it's just going to blow everybody away, like the iPhone. So then we'll stop using everybody else's. But that's just my thought process.
I think they were talking about buying OpenAI as well at some point and adopting it into iPhones, and every app will be in the infrastructure will be included. So I think we will start to see a wider adoption of it for everyday use. There's obviously the apps now as well, which makes it easier to access.
I feel like you're going to see more heads of AI in companies, people who actually understand this technology, most importantly creating a tech stack which works together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've just had to bring in like an AI policy that kind of gets tools signed off, because we've got a very naturally inquisitive team. You know, my team are really technical, so stuff like this, they absolutely love it.
It's almost taken me back to probably when we all started in marketing, sort of 2010 to 2013, where every year was the year of mobile. I feel like every year from now is going to be the year of AI, until eventually you get the year of AI in like 2027.
Yeah. And it's going to be about people keeping up with AI, because there's just continuous advancements all the time.
Yep. So Emily, with Ask Bosco being an AI tool in itself, how can you use it as an AI tool within the forecasting area?
At the moment, that AI that we have within Ask Bosco and what our teams have developed, it's really sophisticated mathematical models. So that's not something that's currently like available in, like, for example, ChatGPT and like large language models. It's a totally different thing. So, you know, you still need people, humans, very clever PhD data scientists in our team, like working on all of that. So they develop that side of things. What we've had to do with our product is kind of look at how we can also use some of the new technology AI to help summarize things for people. So like across our reporting, competitor benchmarking, we now have like AI summaries and things just to make sure that we're sort of ticking that box in terms of what people expect AI to look like.
That's one thing that our team, obviously we use Ask Bosco, so that's one thing that our team from a high level use. And it's quite vanity that people like it as a bit of a league table to see where our marketing's performing. So it helps when we're number one, and when we drop down, we go into recovery mode and see where we're at. But yeah, great.
And in terms of the forecasting aspect, Gary, have you used that with Ask Bosco? Have you found it useful? Have you found it's got better over time?
I think so, yeah. I think when we first adopted it, it was kind of a learning experience for us. We're probably, I would say we're probably the only business that doesn't have a data science team. Right. It's probably something that falls to a small number of people within our business. So it's helped to pull our reporting all into one place. And I think Visualsoft get a lot out of it from the feedback that I get from the marketing teams, that the PPC team get a lot out of kind of the budget planner and where we should be spending our money, really. And the AI aspect of that is really invaluable, I think.
And what Gary's just said there is exactly what we are trying to achieve with Ask Bosco. You don't need to have massive data scientists teams, you know, data analytics and things like this. We've kind of packaged it all up into Ask Bosco to help like retailers and brands understand their data and have accessibility to, you know, models and algorithms that they might not, just because they don't have that particular skill set.
Even just speeding up the day-to-day use, though, like not having to log into 5 different locations to see your performance and things like that. It really helps to centralize stuff.
So how do you see the AI elements and the forecasting elements improve over time through Ask Bosco?
So with the algorithm that we've got running through the budget planner, it's a learning algorithm. So it trains itself on the data. So for example, with Leaders Online, it'll be looking at that data and constantly improving and making efficiencies over time. Our data science team then do have a roadmap that sits alongside that. So they're constantly reviewing seasonality, demand, and it's more about like the external implications that could impact, for example, a marketing forecast like Black Friday and things like this, like anything that's going on. They're constantly reviewing those patterns to make sure that we've got the best things running through ASK BOSCO.
It's always been a struggle for us as well. We always look back over at performance. We'd never look forward really historically. Yeah. So having a way to forecast things like that is definitely a big benefit for business for us.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see also the effect on Google itself when you think their whole business is based on ad revenues. Obviously, you search on mobile, you get 4 paid ad results, but then you've got new things such as Search GPT, I believe it's called, coming out. Perplexity is another app that I've been using quite a bit, which just returns the response to your query without the ads, without the clutter. How do you think that will affect actually Google as a business and then also retailers as well?
I think it'll affect people who are in the know. I think you'd be surprised how many people still don't realise that there's a lot of paid ads and sponsored ads on Google. People don't realise that people pay for that space. Yeah. Obviously, unless you're in marketing. So I think it will have a bit of an effect because there's obviously a wide range of people who understand how it works, but there's probably a lot of people that don't even realise, so they won't make the switch. Yep. People still use Microsoft Edge, so...
Yeah, and I think Google will be fine. They always find a way to monetize things. So obviously there's the free version of ChatGPT, there's then the paid for version of ChatGPT, and there's just going to be more and more products that come from Google off the back of all of these advancements.
Yeah.
So within e-commerce itself, we've seen the rise of chatbots, certainly in the customer service area of e-commerce. Leader Online, £50 million business and growing. How could you adopt that into your customer service, especially when part of the Leader Online experience is brilliant customer service?
I think chatbots are not necessarily a new part of AI. I think they've been around for quite a while. In different variations, and we've always wanted to kind of adopt it. I think the changes over the last 18 months have meant that there's a lot more offering and there's a lot better offering. So we are looking at kind of adopting that to triage customers a little bit. When there's lots of inquiries coming in, you kind of want to point them in the right direction. There's lots of help online, and a lot of the questions that come in you can kind of get answers to without actually speaking to a person. It's just kind of putting that, not a barrier in place, but kind of triaging them so that they don't have to speak to someone yet. Right. And then you can bring them through and show them if they do need to speak to someone, because people will get annoyed. You will obviously allow that, but it's kind of just to allow them to kind of breathe a little bit, I guess, our teams.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So you think it's more the sentiment of the query, whether it's an actual complaint or query compared to a product recommendation. There's actually a different use for these.
There is, yeah, and I think you can do a lot more complicated and complex trees now of kind of queries and where to point customers, and I think it's probably came on quite a lot over the last 18 months, but it's probably not a new thing.
Yeah.
But it's much better now. So
I guess, if you're going through a stressful situation, the last thing you want is a chatbot at the other end.
Yeah, it's got to be a barrier, but not too much of a barrier. It's a similar thing to kind of returns, things like that. You wanna triage people enough that they don't think it's easy to do it, and it costs you money. I think there's a little bit of trial and error with it as well. I think you've got to get it right, but yeah.
Right. And within ASK BOSCO, Emily, you obviously have your AI-led recommendations from your chatbot, your assistant that's in there. How much can marketers trust that and just go and implement those things? Does it still need the human touch to look over it? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I suppose the same in terms of what Gary said. There's different ways in which you can use it. At the end of the day, ASK BOSCO is a planning tool. So our algorithms, AI that run over the top of it. They're spotting patterns, they're looking at all of the data, and they're coming up with summaries and recommendations of what they believe is the next step to do. And what our AI is doing is basically looking at hundreds of thousands of data points within less than 5 minutes, for example, which a human wouldn't be able to do. However, the execution part of whether you should go and do those recommendations still needs a person to go and have a look and just sense check that. We are trying to get humans to the answer quicker so that they can spend their time doing other things, not trawling through loads of data in order to get to that answer. But I still think from a strategic point of view, it sits with people being able to make those decisions. An example would be if you've had a product that's like absolutely flying, doing really well, Ask Bosco saying push, 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 keep pushing the campaigns for that and everything's going really well. But then all of a sudden, I don't know, a lorry breaks down and you've run out of stock. That's kind of out of the ordinary in terms of like a pattern that Ask Bosco wouldn't necessarily expect at the time. So you'd want your account manager to then be like, oh, we can't follow this recommendation anymore. We need to pause. But actually, what we're trying to do with Ask Bosco is get your sort of business as usual activity incrementally better, and using technology to do that is always going to help, I think.
So over the next year, what's on your AI roadmap then, Emily? What are the big game-changing things that's going to be coming to Ask Bosco?
We've got our new AI reporting that's launching, which I'm really excited about. So basically, one of the values of Ask Bosco is data transparency and being able to get data out to every single layer of the business. And we're launching a new AI search within Ask Bosco. So for example, C-suite level will be able to come in and just ask a question like, what were my best performing marketing channels last week? Ask Bosco will go away, interrogate all of the data, come back with a graph, table, the answer basically, which you can then customize. You can pin, create a report, but basically being able to ask questions of your data is what we're bringing to the solution in September. And I think it's going to be a game changer for businesses and for the Ask Bosco product, really.
Interesting. What about you, Gary, as a retailer? What's on the roadmap, or is there a roadmap?
Yeah, I think that there is. It's more about adopting it across the wider business. I think there's a certain selection of people in the business within probably my team and a couple of others at the higher level of the business which already do use a lot of AI. I think there is so much scope for the rest of the business to skill up and kind of do that. But also from a business point of view, things like we've just discussed chatbots, things like that. I think there is a lot that is coming there that will kind of help the level of customer service and improve it even further for the high standards that we strive to. So yeah. I think there is a lot of opportunity for us, and I think we just need to kind of keep adopting it within reason and be careful with it, but at the same time not stunt the entrepreneurship and the growth in that area.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Gary. Thank you, Emily, for joining us today. That was really insightful. Really appreciate your time, and looking forward to the year ahead in AI.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you.